she's the state director for Marcy's Law, and Marcy's Law is a bill that we're trying to get passed. It already passed the Senate, and it go before the House again next year. And it was written on the behalf of a girl named Marcy, and she was killed by her boyfriend because she didn't know that he got out of prison. And so this bill is for crime victims, so crime victims can have rights. And also know that when their perpetrator get out of jail, because right now in the state of Georgia, rapists have more rights than the victim that they rape. Can you imagine you got raped, but you don't have any rights? You don't have any constitutional rights. So this bill will give victims constitutional rights. So they will have the same rights in court that the perpetrator has. And so it's trying to balance things out, because right now a rapist, just imagine you rape somebody, they have more rights than the person that they rape. And so, and she came by and she left for her sign-in sheet. So make sure you sign the sign-in sheet, because we are looking for volunteers to help us push this bill so it can pass the House of Representatives. It already passed the Senate, so it go back on the ballot next year, 2018. So make sure you write your House of Representatives, email them, call them, let them know to vote yes for Marcy's Law, so we can give people like Shamisha and Triana, Latoya, and many other people, make sure that they have rights in the court in the state of Georgia for Marcy's Law. So I just want to put that plug in for Marcy's Law. And as she's a major sponsor for Daughters Against Domestic Violence. And also just wanted to talk to you guys about my events. Everybody always asks me why I do these events. So I haven't been through domestic violence, and I had mother and dad, but I came from the family, and my family treated me well. But sometimes, as kids, when you go to school, sometimes things can affect your self-esteem, and different people can affect your self-esteem. So sometimes you can go through mental abuse, and you can go through verbal abuse, even though somebody's not beating you or punching you, you can still go through some type of abuse. And so coming out, just being very depressed. I was very depressed at one point in time. Very suicidal. There were plenty of times when I wanted to take my life, and even when I had my child, I was still suicidal. And it was a point in time I will never forget that my whole life was interrupted. I was going to get my hair done, and I was going, been there a million times. This time I ran into a friend. She invited me to church, even though I was raised in church. I had to kind of slip away. I wasn't going anymore because just going through life and stuff like that. And so I came to church, and God met me at church, and it was this time that I got saved and gave my life to God, and just began to praying and fasting. I would always ask God, like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I called to do? Because I never knew what my identity was, so sometimes I did get lost in relationships. And I thought I always needed a man, needed a companion, needed somebody to love me, somebody to validate me, and just crying and praying and fasting. And God gave me the vision for my company, Winning While Waiting, to teach young women, young girls how you can win while you're waiting, that you don't need a man to validate you, and that you can validate yourself, and that you can find validation in your faith. And so he gave me the company, and I was just continued. That was about 2011, and just wanted to reach the masses. And at the end of 2015, I was really trying to figure out how can I bring my message and help people. And so I went to my friend event. She had an event, and I spoke at her event. Your current condition is not your final resting place. So I went to her event, and I spoke, and then it was like that night, God told me, like, do events. And so that was the end of 2015. I did my first event last year in October during the Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I had on my birthday. My birthday was on a Saturday. Did my first event, and that was in Decatur. This my second event was in March of this year. It was in Stone Mountain, and this is my third event here in Lithonia, Georgia, and just reaching the masses and making sure my message, the message of God, my faith, what I've been through, also to empower and take the path others, to let you know that your current condition is not your final destination, and that you can impact and reach people right where you are with the resources that you have. If we all come together, we can really save people's life, because a lot of us, we do have kids and we do have young ladies that are looking up to us. And a lot of people do, they struggle with self-esteem. Yes, you can have both parents in your home. Yes, your parents can be good, but you can still struggle with self-esteem. Because a lot of times we get bullied in school and people look down on you. Or, kids can be cruel. And like, if you don't really know that, and like that mental, it will wear on you. Eventually it will wear on you. And sometimes you can be struggling silently. And so I was struggling silently, and people were like, oh, you was depressed? And why? No, I was depressed. I was suicidal. And so, but God brought me out of that, and He delivered me from that.
Thank you, Jesus.
He delivered me from rejection and a strong spirit of abandonment, because, like, even when people would tell me, like, oh, you're beautiful, but inside of all, she just lying. Or people would tell me that, oh, I love you, like, she just lying, you just saying it because the pastor told you to say it. But God had to teach me how to love myself so I can love others, and not just love others, but how I can receive love. And so that's why I'm doing my events. We will have another event. The next event, I want to focus on sex trafficking, because that is another passion of mine. A lot of people are falling victim to sex trafficking, because it's not your average person. It is your average person that you see in the grocery store. It looks just like somebody like your next door neighbor. It could be he can be pimping your girls. So I want to focus on sex trafficking. Do look for that. I'm still working on getting that in a date and the location for that. So also sexual abuse and different type of crimes. I know there is a bill that we're trying to get renewed for sex trafficking, so I'm still trying to get the information on that, so we can advocate for that, go to the state capitol and raise our voice and raise awareness for that one. And also want to do programs for the youth. So if you have some youth and you want to them to be a part of the program, so we can help build their self-esteem, so they'll know that you don't have to be abused, and that's not love, and that abuse don't hurt. So also make sure that you sign up, that I get your information, so I can keep you guys in touch. And right now, we're just going to take this time to talk to one another and network with one another, get each other phone numbers, emails, take some selfies, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, to let them know that you are here at the Dollars Against Domestic Violence event here in Lithonia, Georgia.